powerhouse unit waiting to be used by the matriarch. So all they have to do is select one as their senior representative to be put on the database and tell them what our resources are, what y'all need in y'all area, stuff like that. This next phase, when it come online, is going to be about food, clothing, and shelter.
Okay.
It's going to be about freeing political prisoners held by the corporate fiction. It's going to be the chief speaking to the masses to tell us that we was once out of control under the control of a foreign agency, but now we have regained control of the land and our resources.
Absolutely.
And we came back for everything they owe, and it just so happened they owed us everything.
Mm-hmm. So going into the church, right? Because I was too raised in the church. You know, bringing that subject up about, I guess where we come from, how we came about, and all that good stuff. You kind of touch on the aspect of Christianity. You know, a lot of the church mamas, they ain't gonna want to hear that. About the whole what Christianity really is and all that good stuff.
You don't
So,
have. That's not the point of bringing them together, though.
right,
You're not bringing them together to argue Christian ideology.
right.
They can still believe what they want to believe,
Mm-hmm.
but you just asking them to be part of the matriarchal community that's in charge of getting resources to the people in your community. That's it. They can still hold on to their limiting beliefs as long as they believe in doing community work,
Right. Mm-hmm.
right? Or as a church mother, fulfilling her church mother functions of picking people in her church to do community work according to what the interest of their church is. Some churches might want to have youth leagues
Mm-hmm.
where they do things with the youth, but another church might want to run food banks,
Right.
right? Another church might want to set up housing for homeless people and displaced mothers. You see, but whatever they pick, they just trying to put a team together that can handle the resources getting to the people without the people being exploited.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. I didn't think about it like that. As far as going back to my roots and how what I know, what I was raised off of. Going back
Mm.
to the familiarity of things and starting from there. I get so passionate though when it's time to start talking about like the truth because I what I really want is for everybody to be liberated. Even though I know everybody can't go, um, it's just still one of those things. It's like I want y'all to see it. You know what I'm saying? Like I really want y'all to get it so bad, so bad.
So when all this over, one of the things I'm gonna be doing from my house is sending for all my relatives to come in small groups.
Mm-hmm.
But when they get there, um, I'm gonna have like my mother's sisters
Mm-hmm.
and brothers gonna each have a book at my house. When they children come,
Mm-hmm.
they get to fill in the family tree for that line, who they is, the children they had, the children that their children had,
Yeah.
right? So once I put all this together, then when we get down to newborn babies, I'm gonna duplicate it, and then all of the people in the book gonna get copies
Hmm.
of all of the books,
Right.
not just the one, right? And that way they know who is who in the family,
Mm-hmm.
where they at, if they want to have a family gathering, how to contact everybody, right? But that's just somebody else might have a different aspiration.
Right.
They might only want to deal with their grandmama's sister kids because they the only ones they like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's just a different tribe with a different structure. Right, so they'll go hang out with them, but they would do something similar,
Mm-hmm.
according to their wishes.
Right. Right. That's one thing I always do. Like my grandmother now, she's 82, and she just stopped working fully about 2 months ago. So she's been working, strength, real strong strength. And one thing I always do, even from a little girl all the way up until now, I always be like, Grandma, tell me when, so and so, so and so. Grandma, how did y'all come up? And she has enlightened me from her mother and three mothers down past before her, and just the different ways of what we knew, and different ways of how traditionally what we've been taught, and I pass that down now to my daughter, like you're mentioning, leaving that book behind for her as well. So yes, sir, I
Mhm.
thank you so much.
Mhm. Yeah, that's um, all of those things is reconstitute the tribes using modern understanding of society applied to ancient stuff we used to do. So Big Mama always had a book that she used before we had Bibles. They started writing them in the Bibles, but before that, Big Mama always kept a record of the time, the date, and the year that a child was born because she can go there and plot out his astrology chart, and then she know how to teach him to prepare for an obstacle in his life.
Mm,
Oh, I need to get this baby for a couple of weeks because he got this thing coming up.
right,
Right?
right.
She beating got so good at astrology over doing this with so many, she could just look at the birth dates now and
Mm-hmm.
know what the stellar alignment is for that child and how best to help him navigate his future life obstacle so he can be successful in assimilating life lessons and applying them to his life as he grows. Different big mamas got different customs.
Right.
Some was palm
Mm-hmm.
readers. They call all the babies in and read their palms, right? Some was tarot readers. Some was cowrie shell readers, right? But they use them to always help the child navigate a difficult life process by having them pre-informed of what this could be coming up and how to adjust. So it's like having your own personal life strategist. That's why
Mm-hmm.
Big Mama get to know all her kids, even down to the great great grands, because she need to know which child she need to spend time with to prepare him for spiritual combat.
Right.
But it
Right.
don't look like that in the physical. It look like she just called in to have you bring the baby to see Big Mama.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm.
Right, go on, girl. I keep it for the weekend for you.
Mm-hmm.
All the time, she, putting protection energy on her. Probably get the baby massages, whispering commands in her ear so she'll know when you face the demon, face him with no fear, stuff like that. Look, my man, France Fanon, right,
Mm-hmm.
wrote in one of his books, I think it was Thick Face Black Heart. He said, "Long gone are the days where the young mothers, would sing the songs of liberation in the ears of the child, so that the child can become the standing army of the next generation. Oh, bring back the mothers who sings the songs of liberation in the ears of the babes."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Oh boy, he cutting up over here." That was talking about returning to matriarchy,
Right.
getting
Absolutely.
from mothers saying my son bad to my child got a lot of energy. He a real
Yes,
boy.
absolutely.
If you keep telling
Absolutely.
the child he bad, then he's going to meet your expectations of bad actions because you've programmed him to perform them well.
Absolutely. I say that a lot, especially with her. Everybody says, oh, she's so nosy. She's so no. She's observant. She's taking in information of her surroundings so that she can know, how to dissect and be able to, have her own sense of mind. I'm just here to give her the tools. She already knows what she needs to do.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
So you teach him a sense of self when you tell him when you see the world, see yourself as the center because
Mm-hmm.
you're the center of your own world. That means that you control it in layers away from you until you control the whole world. But you start with self first.
Right.
Be the change you want to see.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much. I truly appreciate it. And then thank you again for allowing me to come back on.
Mhm. You're welcome. I knew we had some technical difficulties, so
I like I said, I feel like I'm speaking for the small intricate people who's, been placed throughout. You know, we have a lot to say.
look,
Especially
it's a lot we can do, but to tell you the truth, I don't really focus on it because most of us is too lazy to do it. Or if we got the ambition to do it, we too overwhelmed and occupied with our current day-to-day life. We can't find a way to get it done,
hmm
right? Which is more than the lazy.
yeah.
It's more people that swamped with their life that can't help, but they want to help so bad, right? I accept that energy and I perform the function I'm performing. So the least amount of people is needed for the success of the total venture.
hmm
As you need more people, you gradually start building and reaching out, and more people will come according to the awakening in the process that's taking place, right? So now we at the part where the matriarchy is in power. The government is seated, right?
hmm
But it's not fully seated. Mothers, clan mothers across the land need to make a network connection of clan mothers across the land,
Right.
right? That was the purpose of the original public service announcement earlier. And by connecting them, they solidifying the power of the matriarchs. And once we got every state represented sufficiently, then they can roll out resources into the community. But then we'll see that National Guard presence and other things playing out as they making the alliance. We watching the corporation crumble as they gain in strength and power.
hmm
And the best way to do it is to link as many um, together as possible. And Empress Redbird gave the call last week for the clan mothers to begin to reach out. And we don't want to debate doctrine or philosophical differences. All we want is the clan mothers to agree to the great law and to make a connection across the land so that we can effectively enforce the great law from a tribal perspective as opposed to a military presence of a foreign agent.
hmm Right. Absolutely. I was once told, again from my grandmother, she said that once all the women's cycles started syncing together, that the world was changing. And lately, I can attest from not only friends, I've asked a few, co-workers, a lot of women's cycles have been, sinking as far as some been saying that it's been doing something a little iffy where it's been, coming on earlier, staying longer. Um, and then on top of that, I was taught how to, read the weather for what it is, how to, go outside and smell water in the air, and how to be able to, just be in tune with what's going on outside and in the inside, so that you can be aware of the actual change that's approaching. So in a test of that, just being in alignment with all the mothers of the land, to get ready to, I feel like women are kind of bracing themselves right now for something that's great, even the ones that don't even understand what's going on. I honestly feel that, this change that's already here, but it's getting stronger. And sooner or later, we're not going to have no choice but to acknowledge what it is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's coming fast.
Yes.
So the reason why their misses will sink is this: the elder women that's doing the spiritual work are like Tesla coils of energy.
Mm-hmm.
Every time they meet a group of sisters on that same frequency, they sync.
Mm-hmm.
They call it the Sybil, the sinking of the Sibyls is what it's called. The sinking of the Sibyls ties them into the prefrontal lobe of the collective unconscious egregore. It's the driver's seat of humanity. They become the conscience of humanity. And
Okay.
as the elder mothers sink, which means tie into one another, then the up and coming mothers begin to sync with the elder mothers by proximity. So she was giving you a great sign of the returning rise of the matriarchy when all of the women's misses sync. But the thing is, for a period of time while they all synced, none of them are going to get pregnant.
Hmm.
It's a spiritual working that's taking place, and that energy will not facilitate a zygote being able to go to the first trimester. And so most of them will never know if they got pregnant during that period because they're going to spontaneously abort because all of the uteruses is doing what we call genetic cleaning of itself in order to facilitate the new codes of the next DNA program of the species known as humans.
Wow.
So when they sync up, they correcting all of the DNA errors. The mitochondria have been scanning the whole time, all DNA. So when they sync, they know how to correct the problem because you got so many scientists and doctors that's had eyes on so many parts of the body that's going to be synced in this same frequency that they'll automatically put the answer together to the problem. This is why they were always utilized in Atlantis, because once they sync, they can solve any
Hmm.
problem because they in every walk of life.